Warning. The views and beliefs of the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators, and we do not believe in cancel culture. Viewer discretion is advised. What happened? Huh? None of y'all know nothing? Come on now, don't let everybody speak at once. Had all y'all in here. Now none of y'all know nothing? Sam. I know Sam know what happened. Come on, Sam. What happened? Tell me what happened. Jack. What happened, man? What happened? None? What's up with this? Riley know what happened. He was brought in here to make some things happen. You were incapable of running this. Sit your transfer portal self down before I make change. There's no way I can play every position, coach. I'm the quarterback. If you'd have been taking care of business, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. If I was what? If I was what? What'd you say? Nothing. That's what I thought you said. Nothing. That's what we got. Nothing. 5th in the nation. National championship we're supposed to have. Nothing. Riley, you were bought in here. We gave you a good spot. That other school didn't cut it for you. Lost your coach. You came here. You think this 4-leaf clover, you think just because you played for the Irish, you arrived? Y'all ain't got nothing. Y'all believe the hype. You thought you was better than what you was. You got shown up today. Overnight celebrity. Coach crying and everything. They believed. We believed we was better than them. We wasn't. Not today. Don't let this happen again. If it does, y'all all gone. I'll make sure you won't make a crumb off of NIL. Leave me.
Coach, can I talk to you, Coach?
Get out.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host, Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty. If you're new to the show, what's up? I'm Shannon. I'm a podcaster from the great state of North Carolina. Been doing this thing for over a year. This is my second show, but actually my first solo show. If you like fun, comic relief, some analysis, then this is the show for you. Kick back, relax, and enjoy. But also while you're at it, like the show, comment if you want, and if you will, share the show. But most importantly, subscribe to the Boom Broadcast YouTube channel and all the socials so you can catch up on the latest news and catch some of these great shows we have. We have a lot of content creators with a lot of content, all the sports that you like, even some things outside of sports. So we look forward to you watching, and thank you for subscribing. Thank you for what you do for Boom Broadcasting. But if you're one of my quick hitting brothers and sisters, ouch! Welcome back. We have a lot to cover today, but of course, let's go to this news around Boom. Now, you know that Wednesdays are a very stacked card for Boom Broadcasting, starting off with the opening act, Podcast Smitty for quick hits at 9 a.m. But we got a little bit of stuff going on here today that you're probably not used to seeing. So you got me this morning, so you enjoy your morning Joe with the man, Podcast Smitty. But at 12 o'clock p.m. today, Wayne, the model Thomas, Wayne, the commissioner Thomas, is going to be debuting his show at 12 p.m. called Sideline Savants. I love that name as well, too. Wayne is a fantasy football guru, self-proclaimed that is, because he's going to take an L to me this year. But Wayne is going to be giving you your ins and outs of fantasy football, who to start, who to sit, who to get off of waivers. That's going to be Wayne, the model Thomas. We talk wrestling a little bit, but he's also a football guy. So do me a favor and give him a watch. He's put a lot of work into this show, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of it. Very happy to have him on Boom Broadcasting as well, too. So 12 p.m., Sideline Savants. After that, 3 o'clock p.m., usually formally at 2 o'clock, Drop the Mic. We'll be going on there with my man, Michael Davis, a.k.a. MD. He'll be moving his wrestling podcast to 3 p.m. So if you're used to that 2 p.m. time slot, sorry about that. But he's moving it to make sure that Wayne has his time with Sideline Savants. So go ahead and watch Drop the Mic. Mike did a very, very compelling list of who he had to win at All Out last week. So this week, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has. And at 6 o'clock, we have the Lombardi Party by my man Carson Williams, as he's going to talk about his Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, they took a loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Jordan Love had a little bit of an injury. Hopefully he shakes that off. But see what Carson has to talk about with his Green Bay Packers at 6. And of course, for all you late night freaks out there, watch the 10:05 production of the Nightcap for AEW's Dynamite Wednesday with my man, the Don, mouthing off with Mike. So if you're up late, make sure that you do so. Check out some Boom Broadcast in order to have your morning coffee or before you doze off or you sleep at night. Wednesday's a stat card, so enjoy. Now, of course, let's start the show. Like I said last week, I'm a fan of sport, not just sports. I'm a fan of sport. So I feel compelled and I'm very happy to begin the show with the soccer quick hit. Now, last week, I had my very first soccer quick hit, and we'll be getting on to that into the rest of the show. But I'll start this quick hit here with a legend, an icon in women's soccer, and that's Alex Morgan, who played her 63rd game, final game all time, this past Sunday with her soccer club, the San Diego Wave of the National Women's Soccer League. 63 games total. She was a high school All-American, finalist for the Herman Trophy, which is like the Heisman Trophy for women's college soccer. She was a NWSL champion and a 2-time World Cup champion and an Olympic gold medalist also too. I got to look at the highlights of the game. I got to see what San Diego did for her, and it was really, really cool. She got to walk out the tunnel with her daughter. She's expecting her second child due very, very soon. She didn't play a lot in the game, but of course, if you know Alex Morgan and women's soccer, her number is number 13. So of course she wears number 13. She wore number 13 with the the women's national team. They let her walk out on the pitch on the 13th minute of the game. She hugged her teammates. She waved goodbye to the crowd. The crowd chanted so many chants there, so many signs. You know, this was a big moment for her, and the fans were very, very in tune with what she was about and what she was doing. She unlaced her cleats, which I thought was really cool, which I love this here, because there have been players, there have been athletes who have done this before, but she unlaced her cleats and she carried them and she walked off the field. A lot of hugs, a lot of cheers. It was really cool seeing that. You know, they did a jersey with the number 63 for how many games she's played. You know, very deserving, well-deserving for Alex Morgan. Congratulations to her. Hopefully she has a safe delivery of her second child. Hopefully she has a wonderful career. She was 35 years old when she retired. I believe she's going to be more devoted to her family, maybe doing more for women's athletes. It's been a boom period for women's sports, period, whether it's soccer, whether it's the WNBA, whether it's wrestling, whatever it's been a boom period for women this year, and Alex Morgan retiring is another example of how great women's sports has been. Thankfully, Alex Morgan had a very wonderful career, very decorated. She credits Mia Hamm for giving her and inspiring her to love soccer and to pursue her professional career. It was really, really cool seeing that. So yeah, those cleats were dope. And I saw those cleats. That color wave was nice. And the San Diego Wave, they have a really cool color jersey, and just really, really cool about that. I got to watch the highlights. I didn't get to watch the whole interview, but that's something I'm going to watch. But congratulations, Alex Morgan. Thank you for what you've done for U.S. women's soccer. Not only that, but to the sport of soccer, congratulations and happy retirement. Now, we're not done with the soccer quick hits just yet. Cristiano Ronaldo hit number 900 and number 901 on the goal scoring, being the only player in football history to have 900 goals in a career. Now, this is a big feat for Cristiano Ronaldo, who says that he knew that he would get here from the time that he began playing soccer to now. At 39 years old, he's accomplished something that no other soccer player has ever done. 900 goals. Now, if you watched Quick Hits last week, you would know that he said 1,000 goals is in his sights. He is looking to do that, looking to be the only player to ever do it, and create a gap in between any player that tries to go after 1,000 goals all time. Now, I'll be honest with you. I know of soccer, but I don't know soccer. I like to watch soccer. And like I've said, which I'm probably going to try my hardest to get on a t-shirt or to just have as a hashtag, I'm a fan of sports. The preparation, the physical exertion, the competition, that's what I'm a fan of. I'm not going to sit around here and talk about that I know soccer backwards and forwards. I don't. I'm a fan of sport. I'm a fan of the game. I like to watch soccer, even though sometimes I don't know what the hell is going on. But I watch the game and I have a good understanding of it. I'm a quick learner as well, too. For those out there who watch soccer, feel free to fill me in, to enlighten me. I'll sit down. I'll listen. I'll watch a podcast, whatever I have to do. Anybody who wants to do a podcast on soccer, talk to MD. Talk to MD about doing a soccer podcast for Boom Broadcasting. That would be dope. We already got baseball covered. We got football. We got basketball. We've got your sports news, all that stuff. We got that. So, hey, if you want to do a soccer podcast, anybody out there who wants to do that, let's go. But with that being said, 900 goals, hard to beat. regardless of how anybody feels about Cristiano Ronaldo, whether they love him or they hate him, you got to put him in the GOAT category. Only player to ever score 900 goals. That's going to take a long time for any of the players out there. He shouted out Lionel Messi, creating a little competition between the two. Messi, of course, a great soccer player in his own right. Don't know how close or far away he is on the goal scoring all time, but we'll definitely see. I like Lionel Messi. I think he's a great player. He was one of my favorite players, of course. And I like Ronaldo as well, too. But I think it's one of those kind of things, it's like I don't know which one I don't think you could be a fan of either. So anybody who is a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't know what the rules are. Somebody enlighten me on those rules. Please tell me. But both of these players are great in their own right. But Cristiano Ronaldo, there are some that say that he's padding stats. There are some that's saying that he should not be on the national team because it's more about him than it is about the game of soccer. And I can understand that. As someone who scored 900 goals or who was one of the most popular people in the world, I can get how the ego and I can get how the big-headedness can be for a player like Cristiano Ronaldo. And by all means, he deserves to be that way in my eyes. The man is one of the greatest players that's ever played in the history of soccer. So how would you be if that was you? Now, I know how I would be. I'd be just like him. But with all that being considered, is Cristiano Ronaldo the GOAT of soccer? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the DMs. Let's talk. But as of right now, I got to say he's the greatest of this generation. The greatest of the past generation. He has to be up there. You got to talk about him. And with all that being said, all that being considered, that is your soccer quick hits for this week. With the offseason going on, it's now time for the NBA to throw around their money. So let's talk a little basketball. Jamal Murray signing a max contract, keeping him in the Denver Nuggets uniform for the next 4 years of his career. 4 years, $208 million, keeping him there, getting the Denver Nuggets into playoff and championship contention for the next 4 years. Smart move for them to do. I believe that Jamal Murray is one of the best players in the NBA that has not been an NBA All-Star. He's consistently scored 20 points a game for the past 3 seasons. He's overcame a very tragic injury in 2021, getting him to be one of the best pick and roll options for 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic. It would have been very silly for the Denver Nuggets to not extend him for the money they had. Now, this summer, they lost KCP to the Orlando Magic. But given the choice between these two, KCP seemed like the right pick for them to let go. He's a good player. KCP is a great 3-and-D guard, great wing player on that team. But it had to be done in order to get Jamal Murray to get this max contract here. So great move by the NBA, great move by the Denver Nuggets to keep them on that squad. Very important for them to do. He set records for himself personally with 6.5 assists per game and 42.5 from the three last year. Made sense to do. He gives that firepower to the Denver Nuggets, and they need that in that Western Conference because the Western Conference is very, very tough with Minnesota looming, with the upstart OKC team. It's very important to bring somebody back. He was a part of that championship squad that won 2 years ago. It made perfect sense to bring him back, make sure that you get him the money, get him the longevity that he needs. Jokic is in his prime. He's in his prime. They're young players. This is a good look for the new look Denver Nuggets, who won their first NBA championship with these two guys on their team 2 years ago. This was a move that had to be done. Bravo to the Denver Nuggets. And that is your basketball quick hits for this week. Now, I got a lot of football quick hits, so it's going to probably take the show a little bit just to get them all. but I think I did a good job of condensing them all down. So now the quick hit for college football is this. Can we just go ahead and give Thomas Hammonds Coach of the Year in all college football? I know it's early. I know they got a full season to go. This is week 2. I get it. But that man's interview, if you did not watch his interview, you better go watch it right now. Do it after the show. If you want to go ahead and just click off the show and then come back to it, then cool. Go ahead and do that. But watch that man's interview. All the emotions that he exhibited was great. Now, mind you, I don't like Notre Dame, can't stand them. I'm not a fan of them at all. I laughed like you know what when they lost the game to Northern Illinois University. I loved every bit of it. I was happy to see it because I don't like Notre Dame. I have my own feelings about Notre Dame, and that's another story for another time. But after the game was over, going into this coming week, I was able to do my research on what was going on and why this was big for Coach Thomas Hammonds and his NIU squad. And to be honest with you, it's bigger than my despise of Notre Dame. It's bigger than that. That man is an alum. He went to that school. He was a part of a big boneyard win for NIU when he was playing one of their big games. I believe it was the Wake Forest game that he played against, and they won in overtime. He had a lot of rushing yards in that game. I believe it was 126 rushing yards. I'm not sure exactly. But Thomas Hammonds loves this university. He loves NIU. He has a big love for it. And for people out there that feel like the NIL and the big names, the Power Four, are going to take over college football, which, to be honest with you, I get it. If they do, understood. I understand that. But the way that man coaches and the way that man loves his student athletes is unparalleled. And schools like that are going to fight till they can't fight anymore. And it was huge what he said. The man named his son, gave his son the middle name of the dorm that him and his wife met in. That's how much this man loves this school. All of his friends that were in attendance of that game were Notre Dame fans, but they supported him for that time. And him going into tears talking about his team that they believed. I'll never forget that. Just how he said that they believed. And the fact that he coaches this squad to be academically gifted, to be good football players. You need coaches like that. And you know what? Them Power Fives, they can have it. If that's what they want, fine. This man is making men. And I got to give credit where credit is due. And they come up with a big win. Happily, it was the Notre Dame. Good for y'all. Y'all overrated anyway. But the fact that this man, Thomas Hammonds, gave a wonderful post-game speech, put his kids first, showed what they were, and got a top 25 ranking on top of that as well, too. I'm glad for him. Congratulations to Thomas Hammonds and the NIU Huskies getting the biggest win of the week. Maybe, right, as of right now, the biggest win of the season, in my opinion. So, congratulations, Coach. Celebrate with your team. Get them ready. I'll be watching you this year. Good job. So, Dak got a new contract. Good for him. How do I feel about that? I think it's a smart move for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott gets a very, very unfair shake. The reason that he gets that unfair shake is because of that star on the side of his helmet. And I think a lot of people who are fans or not fans of the Dallas Cowboys know that. I've been saying that for a while. I think Dak Prescott has met expectations as a quarterback here in the NFL. He's played consistently well. He had a season that was close to MVP last year, and he had a very impressive showing against the Cleveland Browns, who I think are a squad that might be on a downward trend with D. Watt being their quarterback as well, too. Deshaun Watson not playing so well in the game. There was reports saying that his father died, so he kind of had a very emotional game. But nonetheless, I said it on the new show that Aaron Schneider had on the live feed that he doesn't want to be there. Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be in Cleveland. I don't believe he does. But back to Dak Prescott. Good move to get him a new deal. They got the new deal with CeeDee Lamb being there long term. And Dak got a new deal as well, too, to keep him there. I think the Dallas Cowboys are invested in Dak Prescott. Do I think that Dak is on borrowed time? Yes, I do. I think that Jerry Jones, being the billionaire owner that he is, wants to get an investment for his money. He wants to see that Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, those guys are there and get him a Super Bowl. It's been a while since they've been there. And being the Dallas Cowboy hater that I am, I hope they don't get it. I really don't. But do I want success for Dak Prescott? Yes. Do I want success for CeeDee Lamb? Yes. Do I want Micah Parsons to keep my San Francisco 49ers name out of his mouth? Yes. But with all that being considered, Dak Prescott is a heck of a quarterback. And I think that he gets a raw deal. When you have quarterbacks like Josh Allen throwing interceptions like crazy and no one bats an eye, but then you see Dak Prescott throw far less interceptions. Now, mind you, there are times where Dak throws the ball somewhere and I wonder what is going on with him. He has some issues with clock management. My 49ers showed that. But I'm going to leave that alone because that was in the past. That's in the rear view. We have a new season. But with all that being considered, Dak Prescott is not a bad quarterback, and he's played very, very well, and he's put up some numbers. Now he's got his number one target back. Brandon Cooks also had a very good game as well, too. I think that Zeke being in the backfield is a bad move for Dallas. But Dallas has a squad that can be reckoned with in the NFC. They're going to have a battle in the NFC East with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to talk about the New York Giants, even though they look like the Montreal Canadiens this past Sunday with their uniforms, but not with their success. And the Washington Redskins, I think, need time to build. But Dallas put themselves in contention for the NFC with that sign alone. And so let's see what Dallas has got. Let's see what Dak Prescott can do as he goes into this new contract with them boys. Hopefully it's another early exit out of the playoffs or no playoffs at all. But hey, Dak Prescott, get paid, get paid. Good job. On Sunday, the very first Gridiron Address episode was featured on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel hosted by my man Aaron Schneider. On that very show, we had kind of like a joke about what happened with Tyreek Hill. It wasn't about what happened to him. It was about his play. So if you would like, go back and watch that and see what we're talking about here. But what I want to speak on is the situation that happened with Tyreek Hill before he got to the stadium to play. 3 hours before, of course, many of you have already read, he was detained by police because he was driving at an unsafe rate of speed. He didn't have his seatbelt on, all of that. Tyreek Hill got a little heated, got a little emotional with police officers. Police officers placed handcuffs on him and put him on the ground. Now, the way that people view things, the way people see things, one of his teammates stopped and was detained also too. They were there looking after Tyreek Hill. The way that it's viewed and the way that it's said and the way that things are distorted can cause a lot of emotional outcry from other people. The way I see this and the way that I view this, I can only view it in one of two ways. Number one, I have a lot of respect for our law enforcement officers around the country. Tough job, rough job, it is. I have respect for Tyreek Hill. Great football player. He's pretty funny. Sometimes his antics in the interviews are actually kind of funny. And of course, for those who know, I'm a black man. So it's kind of hard and it's on a slippery slope because you can be viewed one way if you side with one, or you can be viewed another way and side with another. So I thought about this a lot as I want to talk about this. So I'll sum it up like this. There are people in this world that are bullies. Some people take their position, their uniform, their place on the hierarchy, they take it a little too seriously. Sometimes they use that to exert themselves on other people and belittle other people that they feel like they're higher than. In this case, do I feel like the police officers did that? Maybe, maybe not. There is an investigation going on because internal affairs will have to look at this, considering the fact that it was a high-profile person that was involved in this, being Tyreek Hill. Considering the fact that there were people that had cell phones and camera phones out there and it was released to the public. There has to be an investigation because of that. So in light of that situation, Tyreek Hill was able to play a very, very good game, but he talked about what if that was someone else and not Tyreek Hill, what would have happened? That part we will not know. There's going to be opinions thrown about this. There's going to be people that are going to talk about this. But let's keep in mind the fact that there are bullies out there. There are people out there that want to show their authority. It could have happened like that in both cases. Tyreek Hill's emotions could have got the best of him to the point that where they had to detain him for the safety of their officers. Could have happened on the side of police officers by detaining someone who is very high profile, someone who is of color, detaining them. We don't know. Looking at it as an investigator, that's where a third party comes in. Hopefully this is swept under the rug. Not swept under the rug. Hopefully this is resolved. Not swept under the rug. No way. Hopefully this is resolved and we can get back to football because he had an incredible game and Miami got their first win. So with all that being considered, those are your football quick hits for this week. And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Decided to keep the Nino Brown on. You know, I was feeling it a little bit. Shout out to the 90s. Shout out to the movie New Jack City for all my young bloods out there that don't know the movie. Go watch it. Yeah. Shout out to my childhood. Couldn't watch it then, you know, but can watch it now. So go ahead and get your copy of New Jack City. Cop it on one of the streaming sites, you know. They got that movie on there somewhere. But anyway, wanna end the show talking about a little something that happened this past weekend. I had a good time with, like I have said before, like I made a reference to in the beginning of the show. This isn't the only podcast that I do. I do a Carolina Panthers centric podcast called The Cat Cave. I've been doing it longer than I have been doing this show. And I had a good time. You know, MD was a part of the show when he was on it. Had a good time with him. Had a lot of fun doing that show. But the other side of that show is Ryan Frick. That's my homeboy from Greenville, South Carolina is where he's from. We've been doing this show and we got back to doing it. And we ended up getting invited to a really, really cool event for podcasters. We got to meet Wesley Walls. We got to meet Kurt Cole, former Panther players. Got the autographs there on the bottle that we got. This pretty dope bottle here from Southern Star. So it was pretty dope. Got this bottle of their 30-year anniversary cognac. It was really dope. We got invited to this. We got a free bottle. Maybe one day might crack it open. Who knows? Unfortunately, the Panthers didn't do so well this week, but We got a lot to talk about on the podcast. If you want to peep that podcast, go to Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Go to their YouTube channel. They have the radio station online where you can listen to the podcasts that are playing on YouTube on the radio at tobaccoroadsportsradio.com. That's where I got my start at doing podcasts with my man Michael Davis, Desmond Johnson, and Ryan Frick as well too. But Frick and I, we've been doing that podcast. We're thinking about doing a podcast called the Frick and Smith Podcast. So thinking about that. But the coolest part about that weekend was me being in North Carolina and Ryan being in South Carolina. We don't get to see each other. We never got to see each other at all until this past weekend. And we got to meet for the first time. We took some pictures. I'm going to be throwing some pictures on in lieu of the meme of the week. I'm going to be throwing up some pictures from that weekend, which it was really, really fun. We had a great time. And I was thankful for the fact that I got to meet him and we had a great time. We got to tour the distillery, and that distillery is 38 minutes from my house. So I'm going to be seeing that place real soon, one more time. So it's close to me. But the fact that I got to meet my partner was a real cool thing. You know, Ryan reached out to me. You know, if you've been watching The Man Behind the Mic with my man MD, you would know what was going on with him. During that time, he was on the Cat Cave. And Ryan reached out to me and had me on a few episodes. And one episode turned into 2, and then to 3. And then he just asked me to be a permanent co-host. When MD got better, we got on that podcast and we were a 3-man show. But now with MD having his hands with Boom Broadcasting so much, Ryan and I became a 2-man show. But I wasn't doing that show without him, and he wasn't doing that show without me. So we decided to do it. And we get invited to this event. Whoever watched the Cat Cave and got us invited to this event, we appreciate it. Ryan and I both appreciate it. I didn't expect for it to happen. I didn't expect for anything in podcasting to come out. I figured I was just going to be making videos in here for a while and just giving my insight on sports. But something came out of it. And it was really cool. Got to meet other podcasters there. Got to meet some very cool people. Got fed good. Had a few good drinks. Things were great. I enjoyed it. But guys, in all things that you do in life, whatever it is, do it with people that you care about, people that you trust. Learn things. Enjoy those people, because you never know when those days are going to be done. You never know when it'll be over with. I'm glad I got to meet my partner before anything happened to us or the opportunity passed us by. And I'm glad that he made the drive, and I'm glad I made the drive, and I'm glad that we were able to do it. But in all things, everybody, y'all stay blessed. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Make sure you peep all the content on tobaccoroadsports.com and Tobacco Road Sports YouTube channel, and most importantly on Boom Broadcasting, as we have plenty of shows coming up. I forgot to mention that Chris DeLuca is going to have a baseball podcast, and I believe it'll be coming on Thursday. So make sure you look out for him. Real cool guy, very good mind for baseball. Enjoy him. He's a heck of a guy. And also keep it locked here, as I'll continue to keep doing my solo podcasts, running it back for you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.